Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting exactly what we voted for. As we speak, ICE agents are all over Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Twin Cities in Minnesota. It's safe to say it's going to be a very icy winter for Ilhan Omar and her illegal voters. She's pissed right now. She's very angry. Footage is coming out of these raids, and it's such a joy to watch, these agents just knocking on doors. ICE, FBI, DEA, it's a whole of government effort. I love that the Trump administration is following through on this. Here's Ilhan Omar yesterday getting confronted. Someone asked her if she's ready to get deported, if she's packing her bags.
Congresswoman, do you agree with President Trump's assumption that you married your brother to get citizenship? Have you begun packing your bags for Somalia yet, Congresswoman Omar?
Not going anywhere.
So you're not?
No, don't waste your energy on me.
Do you have a message for President Trump?
I will be here probably longer than Trump.
Wait, do you have a message for President Trump?
I am like a quarter of his age.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say to him?
It's an old man losing his mind. I don't know why he's obsessed with me.
He's obsessed with you. Lady, you're obsessed with him. Your entire political career has been attacking him. Anyways, I wouldn't be so confident of that, Ilhan, because, Trump is doing what he's doing now, but wait for the next Trump, that next president who carries that MAGA torch to the next level, to the America first, America only level. Trump is pretty nice compared to what's coming next. We'll have a real, actual xenophobic, racist president in the future, and that president will want to deport everybody, okay? That's what we're going to have. That's where we're headed.
I have some good news for all of us, which is about Ilhan Omar. It starts bad, but then it gets good. She married her brother, allegedly, so that he could get into the country and be here, like an immigration matter. Trump keeps saying that she married her brother so she could get in. Dave Smith, that if she's not a U.S. citizen, she can't be a U.S. House member, and she could be deported. I mean, I just want to give you that little nugget going off into the weekend.
It might be evil how excited that prospect makes me, but that really would be something. I mean, geez, what a weird story.
We deserve it.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, there's no self-respecting country can put up with people. And don't get me wrong, I could make out, we've been bombing Somalia for 20 years, and hundreds, thousands of people have died in that country, and lots of people have fled over, like U.S. action. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a lefty here. I'm just a constitutionalist, Ron Paul type guy who's like, we shouldn't have been doing that. But no self-respecting country.
And they can go someplace else.
Yes, but no self-respecting country can have a system where anyone from the world can come in and then immediately start lecturing us about how our society is wrong and needs to be overhauled. It's so outrageous.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America and Denaturalized and Deported. Oh, hell yeah. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. Ilhan Omar has to be concerned right now because this Somalian fraud scandal in Minnesota keeps creeping closer and closer to her door, and the Republicans know it. They know that they got these people, her, Tim Walz, they got them where they want them, because they're neck deep in this whole fraud thing. We believe. We can't prove that yet. At least I can't, but we believe it to be true. But what Nancy Mace said here is actually quite telling, because it gives you insight into what the Republicans are thinking. She talked about anybody who's a Somalian American citizen who was involved in this scandal should be denaturalized and deported, and make no mistake about it. Nancy Mace is setting her sights directly on Ilhan Omar. She didn't have to say her name. Everybody knows who she's talking about. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out.
Because we satisfied the requirements needed to pursue citizenship through a legal process. We applied for naturalization because we satisfied all the requirements needed by immigration in order for us to pursue to become citizens. Natural-born citizens cannot be deported. Why? Because they were born here. However, naturalized citizens, we can get our citizenship revoked through a denaturalization process. And how that can come about is if we are being pursued criminally or civically. And it has to go through the federal courts, when they start civil or criminal proceedings, that's where we can run the risk of having our citizenship revoked. Now, you on the other hand, you are being pursued criminally because it's been alleged that you had committed acts of when it came to applying for your citizenship, for your naturalized citizenship. You had made some statements which were misrepresented, or you had omitted facts, or you did not tell the truth when it came to applying for your citizenship. Now this alleged information has come about that you had lied on your application. That is why you're being pursued criminally. And that's how you may face being deported or having your citizenship revoked because of those things. The problem with you, Ilhan, is I think you've gotten way too comfortable. To be honest with you, you're very cocky. You're taking this whole thing for granted. The fact that you are in this country, let me tell you something. Being a U.S. citizen, especially being a naturalized U.S. citizen, that is a privilege. It's not a right. I have a privilege, and I am proud and I am happy. I am grateful that I was awarded and I was afforded that opportunity to be a citizen of this country. America didn't have to do that.
Hello guys, what's up? Thank you for tuning in today. So today I have a question and I want us to discuss. And the question goes, can a naturalized US citizen be deported? So over the past few days, there have been claims involving the Congresswoman Ilhan Omar about her losing her citizenship or actually being deported. But we have to ask ourselves is this legally possible, or these are just political rhetorics? So I want us to break it down so that we get to understand. So Ilhan Omar is a US congresswoman and a naturalized US citizen. So recently, online commentators and even political figures have reignited claims questioning whether a US citizenship could be revoked. But these claims often resurface usually during heated political moments, but they are rarely explained extensively. So I want us to explain this extensively and so that we get to understand.
Me, but I don't even know like why that's such a scary threat. Like, I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown, my kids are grown, like I can go live wherever I want.
So first of all, let us get to understand what it means to be a naturalized US citizen or a naturalized citizen. So a naturalized citizen is someone who was born outside the US but later became a US citizen through the legal process. So once one is naturalized, he or she becomes a US citizen legally, and he or she has the same constitutional rights as someone who is born in the United States.
To know this, majority of us Somalis who are here, as my friend Ali said yesterday, most of us, this was not the first place we came when we came to the United States. But most of us chose Minnesota as our home because Minnesota is special to us. Minnesotans are special to us. When we moved from Arlington, Virginia and came here nearly 30 years ago, none of us decided to move to another state. My siblings and I and my dad, until he died, call Minnesota home. Because like I said, Minnesota is special. And I know almost every single elected Somali Minnesotan did not start out in Minnesota, but chose to come here, stay here, start families here.
So instead of the Somali diaspora living sparsely across the United States, where they would be forced to integrate and assimilate into American society, they chose to congregate in Minneapolis so they could create an enclave that acts as a satellite state for the nation of Somalia, where they can amass political power and elect representatives like Ilhan Omar, who will do exactly what she admitted in the first clip: work from within the United States system for the betterment of Somalia, where they could engage in the same backward cultural behavior of corruption and piracy that led to Somalia being a failed state, and use their political leverage as a voting bloc to force local and state politicians to turn a blind eye to their massive fraud. In the last video I made, they have the police chief apologizing to the Somali community if they feel targeted by these fraud investigations, all while having a Somali translator. In the video I made before that, the mayor of Minneapolis is giving whole speeches in Somali. They have successfully weaponized white liberal guilt to force the acquiescence of their mission to benefit Somalia by any means necessary. So now if you want to win elections in Minneapolis or Minnesota, you need the Somali vote. And in order to get the Somali vote, you must vow to prioritize the interests of Somalia. Otherwise, they'll just install one of their own, like Ilhan Omar, who will do it. The latest mayoral race in Minneapolis was decided by leveraging a Somali clan war back in Somalia to split up the Somali vote in Minneapolis. You can't make this stuff up. Somali clan wars are deciding who the mayor of Minneapolis is. I truly believe in the exceptionalism of America. And because of that, I do believe that immigrants on an individual basis can integrate well.
Ilhan Omar is big mad. She's not talking with all that arrogance today. The largest welfare fraud scandal in all of America's history has happened in her district, Minnesota. So during that Democratic shutdown, the Republicans were working. Allegedly, the Somali community funneled fraudulent autism claims back to Somalia that goes into the accounts of Al-Shabaab, an Al-Qaeda terrorist group. So President Trump terminates the temporary migrant status for all Somalians. So let's talk about it. Allegedly, the Somalians found a way to exploit the HSS program of Minnesota. These funds were designated to autism, addicts, seniors, and those that needed help with housing. Word on the street, this program was ran loosely. Somali children are overly diagnosed with autism. They are enrolled in expensive social services programs. And then these inflated autism claims are submitted to Medicaid. I would say this is unbelievable, but this is happening in California as well. Within 4 years, the HSS program of Minnesota has increased from $3 million to $400 million.
Let me tell you about somebody who overreached themselves. Ilhan Omar, right? She thought she was a big fish, in the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party lost. And she found out who the real big fish is. Trump. Now, they have gone into her entire history and what is happening with her corrupt people. Ilhan Omar has been accused of student loan fraud, campaign fraud abuse nationwide, not just in her city, but nationwide. They called her a serial career criminal. So I guess she really is representative of her community, right? The Somalis in Minnesota. She's been accused of tax fraud, immigration fraud, and bigamy. I think they're working up a case to throw this broad out of here.
All right, guys, you are not going to want to miss this one. Woke liberal Somali Congresswoman Ilhan Omar looks like she may be removed from Congress and deported. If the allegations in this story are true, Omar is finished. And stay till the end because I do have some evidence that actually backs up the claims that are made here. Take a listen to this.
With a federal investigation underway concerning the immigration status of Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, one woman has been publicly raising red flags for years, and she believes she knows where the trail will lead. President Trump has been calling Congresswoman Ilhan Omar into question recently, and White House border czar Tom Homan has confirmed there is an open investigation concerning her immigration status. You're no stranger to politics, I know, AJ, having run for Congress yourself, but you have been raising red flags about Omar for years now. I know there's a bit of a backstory here, but walk us through what you've uncovered.
Right. Well, in 2019, I was looking at something about Ilhan Omar on the internet, and it occurred to me to look at her birth year. I don't know why, or birth date, and so found out that she was actually 18 in the year 2000 when her father became eligible to apply for citizenship.
Now, this is massive because Ilhan Omar claimed to be a minor and got her citizenship through her father at the time. But if she was not a minor, then she would have had to get it on her own. Now, this should be easy enough to verify, you would think, but take a listen to this, and it's truly shocking.
Not anyone has ever verified her citizenship, not the Minnesota Secretary of State, the FEC, or Congress itself. I then went to the Minnesota Secretary of State's office in October of 2019, I believe, and I asked questions and found out that they didn't verify her citizenship, and they actually don't.
So how do you verify their citizenship if they're foreign born? So that's outside of our realm. There's no authorization statutes for us to follow, double check on people, verify their status and things like that. They sign the affidavit, that's the certification statement, and that's just the way it is right now. There is no law that requires us, and in fact, because there is no law telling us to do that, we would be violating the laws by checking up on people. We don't verify everybody is a citizen. We don't verify everybody is a citizen. We don't verify everybody is a citizen.
Now, this is just unbelievable. You have to be a U.S. citizen to be a member of Congress, and nobody has ever verified that. Not to mention that Ilhan Omar actually changed her date of birth on the official government website. Take a look at this.
Yeah, you've been putting all of this out there on social media, and again, you have been for years. I know one of your posts recently was even shared by President Trump's Truth Social account. It's not just your opinion, though. You've documented all of this, and you can see for yourself. The screenshots were, as you say, Omar changed her birth year from 1981 to 1982. Despite the documentation, many still have doubts, especially those who pointed out that USCIS doesn't release full records publicly and name verifications may affect searches. But what do you say to those who doubt this story?
I believe that the whole narrative that Ilhan Omar became a citizen at the age of 17, that narrative that's documented has been sold for so long that people have bought into it and they believe it. But where's the documentation? No one has seen her official naturalization records. No one. Not the Minnesota Secretary of State, not the Federal Election Commission, not Congress. And there is enough evidence now, especially in changing her birth year. I mean, who does that? Who goes to that effort of, I'm in Congress now and I've just noticed that my birth year is incorrect? No, that's a red flag.
That is a huge red flag. Who changes their birth year after they get elected to office? But I want you guys to take a look at something that may have gotten glossed over. Look at the document they showed during that clip. This is an immigration search request for Ilhan Omar's father, Nur Omar Muhammad, and it says it's a non-existence of record, which means that there are no immigration records existing for him, and they go back all the way to 1924. That is very bizarre and just raises more questions. Now, all of this would be very easy to put to rest if Ilhan Omar would just at least deny it or address it in any way. But take a listen to what has happened so far.
I know you've been, again, publishing all of this for years, claiming that Ilhan Omar is a foreign nationalist sitting in U.S. Congress. I'm curious, though, what kind of backlash have you faced for all of this, and has she disputed your findings at this point?
Well, Ilhan Omar has never disputed anything that I have publicly shared or questioned. Never. She's never addressed it.
So AJ, with all this attention recently on Omar's citizenship, do you think that something will finally happen?
Liz, I've done the work, I've done the research, I've put it out there for people to see. So am I hopeful? Yes, I am. I'm hopeful, but I'll believe it when I see it. And hopefully Tom Homan will go get the documents from the government directly and not settle for something that Ilhan Omar or her attorneys dig up. But I am hopeful that something will happen, but we'll see.
For somebody who can't seem to keep their mouth shut like Ilhan Omar, not even disputing this or ever addressing it is a red flag by itself. Let's hope Tom Homan investigates this and that Congress does their job and removes her after the findings come out. Now, I promised you guys that I had some evidence to back up the claim that Ilhan Omar lied about her age. Take a look at this. So this was an article on the BBC website after Ilhan Omar was elected in March of 2019. Now take a look at what it says here. 37-year-old. Now that would mean that she was born in 1981 if her birthday is October 4th, which has never been disputed. And then they even mention in the article that she was born in 1981. Again, that would mean that in the year 2000, she was already 18 because she would have turned 18 in 1999. For all of 2000, she would have been 18 turning 19, thus ineligible to become a U.S. citizen through her father through the process of derivative citizenship. Well, as they say, lies have short legs and eventually they get caught. It looks like Ilhan Omar's lies are finally catching up with her. President Trump has been on to her since 2018 when she was first elected, and she's been nothing but a problem since then. She's been linked to billions of dollars of fraud in the Somali community in Minnesota, and it's about time that Ilhan Omar is held accountable. Now, she's also being investigated for immigration fraud and marriage fraud.
Can a naturalized citizen actually be deported? From what we have defined what it means to be a naturalized citizen, it's almost impossible. Why? Because this individual possesses the constitutional rights same as the ones possessed by someone who was born in the United States, but there are circumstances which can result to for a naturalized citizen losing his or her citizenship, and those circumstances have to be they are extremely rare. So deportations applies to non-citizens. Once someone is a citizen, they are not deportable like a green card holder or a visa holder. So there is one narrow legal exception, and that is called denaturalisation. So this can only happen if the government proves in court that citizenship was obtained through serious fraud or international deception during the naturalization process. So they have to prove that this citizen actually, the process of obtaining the U.S. citizenship through naturalization was done fraudulently. So which is rare and usually require overwhelming evidence and must go through the federal court system. So it is not a political decision. It can't be a political decision as most of you want it to be like. So it was a political decision and cannot happen because of opinions. So if someone's opinion, a speech, or policy disagreements. So if we apply this to Ilhan Omar, Ilhan Omar's case, there has been no court ruling. There has been no successful legal action, and there has been no evidence presented that would meet the standards required for denaturalization. So people have to go to court. The government has to actually go to court, and the court have to, and the evidence provided must meet the threshold. And so this means that she could simply be deported or legally inaccurate. So it's just opinions, but legally it's inaccurate. So if it is not easy to deport her, why are these claims resurfacing? So the reason why this is resurfacing is because immigration and citizenships are emotionally charged political issues, and misinformation spreads quickly. So especially during election cycles or major political debates, especially the ones which we have been having recently, and these are resurfaced because of the issue, the fraud that has been happening in Minnesota. So in conclusion, what we have to know is that naturalized citizens, they have the same legal protections as anyone else. Yes. So deportation is not a political tool, and citizenship cannot be revoked, especially if it's done casually. Yeah. So it has to be done legally with evidence. Yeah. So if this explanation helped clear things up, kindly hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and share this video to someone else who has seen these claims online. So thank you guys. See you on the next episode.